wrapping up pretty much, we've got a week and a half left. I thought it would be nice just to kind of take a look at what we have done and are thinking about what your kids have done and how they've grown and what we've been working on.
Great.
So we kind of set a goal at the beginning of improving how they're responding to reading. And we started to focus on theme, but then as we've really progressed, we've done everything from theme to inferring to summarizing.
Right.
All of it. So what do you think your kids, or how do you think your kids have grown the most from the time that we've worked together?
Well, I think one of the things that helps them grow is the scales, like creating their own scale. I've seen a significant improvement on that because I feel like with them creating it, they're really vested in what makes a 4, what makes a 3, what makes a 2. It's really a clear picture.
Yeah.
So I think that the scales have helped.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Just them knowing, oh, I'm at a 2.
Right.
What can I do next to get there?
Right.
Self-assessing themselves has
Right.
really helped.
Right.
Makes them more independent, not
Right.
reliant on
Right.
you so
Right.
much.
I think the self-assessing and I think peer assessing too. I feel like they know together what their piece is and then what it takes to get to the next level too. Yeah.
And really digging into each other's work helps them grow individually as well.
Right.
So I know, what was it, last week when we were having them work on their summary of those really tricky pieces.
Right.
That was really kind of hard for both of us.
Right.
Sit there and let them work through that productive struggle. So from that experience and after looking at their work, what have you learned most about them as readers and responders?
Oh, I think what I learned about me and them.
Yeah, you and
I feel like that was a good aha moment for me that I do a little too much hand holding, a little too much guided, and I need to release that and let them have struggle time in reading. I feel like I let them have struggle time in math a lot, so I need to apply that same theory to reading. But it ended up they all landed on their feet.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them originally wanted to trade stories, but the other stories were just as challenging. I think that's what they didn't realize. We didn't pick easy stories.
And I thought it was so funny that the stories we picked, even you and I were debating,
Right.
oh, what should we put for this?
Right.
What should we put
Right.
for that?
And then Lucas came up with even better than we did.
So
Which is
we
great.
both grew.
Yeah, we
You're
both grew.
You're right. We didn't
Yeah,
even think of it
that
that
is.
way.
Yeah.
Which is that whole piece of doing your own
Right.
work. That
Right.
really makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of had ideas, but then they surprised us. You know,
Right.
something I noticed when we were watching them was how, like you said at the beginning, they were like, I'm done.
Right.
I throw in the towel. I don't
Right.
even, there's no problem in this. They were very literal
Yes.
with the steps to writing a summary.
Right.
And I kind of feel like that opened you up to saying, maybe I shouldn't be so specific on what needs to be in a summary,
Right.
but more what should we include to make it a good summary.
Right.
And I know that you were kind of like, I don't know if I should just say problem.
Right.
Because in some of those pieces, they were right. There was not a problem. There was more of like an internal struggle,
Mm-hmm.
which you can consider a problem. But
And I felt that they did a lot better with the nonfiction summaries because they didn't have the somebody but so that I felt like that was a little more open, a little more free, and I felt like that was a lot more natural.
yeah.
I really do. I felt like they did great. They would say that here's the heading, here's the main idea, here's some key details to prove it, and that was really driven on their own. So
Well, in nonfiction, you don't have to infer very much.
right,
It's all pretty factual.
that's
right
true
there.
too. So it's
You
pretty
know.
straightforward.
Yeah, but
Right.
still, I think it's easier to read
Yes,
and respond to a nonfiction text
yes,
than
I agree.
making inferences and stuff like that.
Right,
During our experience together, we've kind of done a lot of co-teaching.
Right.
Where you've taught and I've observed, or I've taught and you've observed, or even we like stood up there and co-taught
Right.
together. How do you think that's influenced this 6-week, 8-week period that we've been working together?
Oh, I think that's been huge for me. I feel like we easily work together in that natural element, and we can do that, and we can really roll and bounce off of each other. But when we were doing the summaries, and then I highlighted one of the students, I said, "This is really good," and you said, "Well, that seems more like a trailer." And so I think that was a learning moment for me,
Yeah.
because from a writing perspective, it sounded good, and it had all the elements of what we've taught in writing. But from a reader and writing a summary, that wasn't what we were looking for. So I think,
It's
Just
so nice
balance
to
it.
have somebody else there
right,
to see, to
Right.
like hear what's going on. I wish there was always that fly on the wall.
I know,
Like,
I
hey,
do too,
you know.
I do too.
I've really enjoyed the time that we've had together, and something that I've really noticed about you, number one, you're like a huge, I wanna do this, I wanna do this, I wanna do that. But I love how, and I really appreciate when you say, I give the kids too much.
Right.
This is your second year with these same kids, so they're your babies.
Right.
And you're like, I like to do and then let them do, and then I like to do and let them do. And I think that day where you had the aha where they were struggling, that was kind of like a struggle for you too.
Right.
Because
Definitely.
you were like, I should get in there, you know, but I think we've learned that they can do a lot more
Right.
than sometimes even what we think that they can do.
Right.
Because they're your little babies that you've had for 2 years.
And then Aja Lee was in last Thursday too, and she said a very similar thing, how to let them have productive struggle and let go a little bit more. So she was your echo.
That's funny because we haven't talked
I know,
about it.
you hadn't talked at all. So it just is an opportunity for me, you know, and I've only taught 5th grade once, so this is my second time teaching 5th grade, so I feel like in order to prepare them for middle school, I have to release a lot more.
And I've really enjoyed our conversations about what do we do as readers.
Right.
Because they're there. They're
Right.
all very strong readers. So trying to take what we do at Readers and constantly scaffolding it so that they're doing it as well.
Right.
I think that has made a big difference in the way they even look at texts.
Right.
And how they start to respond to texts.
I agree. And I think them seeing us as readers too.
Mhm.
You know, just always having that model of, well, here's what I'm doing, here's an example of how I'm doing it, here's what I'm thinking as a reader. I think just being that model as a reader in all those components, I think that's helped them a lot.
So you said last week you were observed by Anjali and you did nonfiction.
Yes.
This week, what's your plan? What's our plan of action?
Compare and contrast. I'm doing a Monday, Tuesday, compare and contrast on the shelves by Cynthia Riley and Story